Okay, there we go. As you can see, I'm at a different angle. I had a little bit of troubleshooting issues today. So we're going to rock with it as we can. Welcome, welcome, welcome today. Hopefully, you all can see me well and you're able to. That's what I'm hoping. Matter of fact, let me bring you over to another screen. In the meantime, you all can kind of chime in and tell me where exactly are we coming from. Oh, hey, Dr. Seb, how you doing? Oh my God, I have to tell you about the conference. You can see and hear me. Okay, good, good. I'm glad you can. Yeah, so my webcam, it was really fuzzy and I tried to clean it and I guess I cleaned it with the wrong thing. So I'm actually on my laptop camera right now. And so I feel like I look kind of dingy, but this is what y'all get. So we're going to get it together. We're not going to let this stop us at all. We're going to jump right into it. Also, we're not going to wait because I already got in here a little late. So I'm just going to share my screen. Here we go. We're going to share this screen. There we go. So we're going to pull that out for right now. Share the screen. So today, this is what we're here to talk about today. We're going to talk about just being able and learning my strategy and my framework that I use to book contracts. And so these contracts can be speaking contracts, consulting contracts, and that is with corporations, corporate teams, leaders, things like that. It's important, if that is a strategy that you want to do in your business, that you build a system to be able to do it. Personally, I spent a lot of years winging it and just, like as they say, waving around in the daylight or searching in the daylight with a flashlight, things like that. And it took me some time to create systems for my own brand, as well as just how to implement it, and then trial and error, seeing what was working and what isn't. And not to say that I can assure you won't have any trial and error, but I want to come and share with you the systems that I use that help me improve how I operated my business. So add to the stage. And this is a 3-step system, so it's not very complicated. The goal is for it not to be very overwhelming. I want it to be something that is digestible, that you're able to implement. This is an opportunity for you to ask questions. So share your questions in the chat as we go through this, and we'll just kind of talk it through. I would rather it be a conversation. It doesn't have to be just only me. I do have a few other people who signed up, so I'll try to watch my phone, but I definitely will be watching the chat. Okay. Just making sure I didn't have any missed messages. Okay. Let me pull up on my end. Okay, so welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are here, it means you're probably tired of doing all the things. I know personally, I spent a good amount of years in my business doing all the things. And if you're tired of doing it, maybe you're coaching, you're speaking, you're giving out all the gems, but you're really still not seeing money or the structure that that you're worth. That you've been putting time, energy, you have the expertise, you're getting the certifications, you're doing the professional development, you're going to the conferences, you're doing all the things you need to do to make sure that you have the expertise, because this is something you're very passionate about, but you just don't feel like it's converting into cash. You don't feel like it's converting into any cash flow. And, it can leave you really frustrated. So some of you who will be watching this, maybe on a replay or who'll join the live, in the last time I talked about being booked and busy and broke, because that's exactly where my business was for a very long time. And to the point where I almost shut my business down because I was overwhelmed. I was frustrated. I felt the strain of my business. And that's when my business started to feel like it was a chore and not something that I was very passionate and, really love to do. So I personally had to take a step back. So the hopes is for this to help others possibly skip that part and get right to being able to make the moves that you really want to make. This will not really be a surface level class. We're going to get a little bit deep, but we're specifically be talking about strategy and confidence and how those two work together very well in order to help you increase the cash flow in your business and in order to help you actually achieve a lot of the business goals. A lot of times we sit down at the end of the year or whenever you choose to do it, and then we forget, and we like, okay, I sit down, I'm going to make these goals and I'm going to make this much money next year. I'm going to help this many clients. I'm going to get this many speaking engagements. But there's a huge disconnect between that and you actively actually executing. And one of the things that I have been getting drilled in my head in recent times through social media, having conversations with others in circles that I admire, is the most successful people have the shortest time between the idea and the execution. They don't spend a huge amount of time analyzing, looking through, second guessing. They get it done. And if it's not right, then they learn from that mistake and then they try again. Then they learn from that mistake and they try again. And they allow those lessons to guide and teach them, as opposed to analysis paralysis, causing them to procrastinate and delaying them achieving their goal. So that's why I feel like strategy is very important. If you've been coaching and teaching others about money, but you're doing every single thing manually, you don't have any systems in place, you don't have anything automated, this is for you. If you've been speaking for free or just whatever they could pay, and you don't feel confident stating your price and being firm on it, this is going to be for you. And then if you just feel like you're stuck between passion and profit, and you know, it's like, okay, I'm very passionate about this. I really want people to get this. I know that they need it, and I know how different their life would be if they get this transformation. And you're doing the work because of that. But on the other end, you're like, okay, well, I know my business needs money to run. You're not alone. You're not alone. And there are a lot of people like that. And I would arguably say I spent about 4 years like that. And I tried to do my own estimate to figure out exactly how much that might have cost me. But I'm thinking it's around over $200,000 that could have cost me from not, being able to achieve my goal and get to where I want to be. So it's a reality for many people. And I say it because a lot of times we feel like we're on an island. We don't talk about it with others. We kind of keep it to ourselves. And I want to make it known that you're not alone. You're not alone at all. Okay. Now, moving right into it, why I created this. I want to be respectful of your time, and I got here a little late, so I'm going to move through like the intro slides and things like that and get to the strategies. And I, of course, I had to tell you why I did this. I didn't just start, oh, okay, I'm just going to charge this much in my business and they're going to accept it. It took a lot of work for me. It took a lot of confidence work for me. It took a lot of like, you don't realize a lot of things mentally that are going on within you that cause you to have those problems, having the money conversations and struggle dealing with those parts of things. You have to realize that, and you have to understand that there's a rhyme to the reason when you see other people doing things, and sometimes you question them. I'll be honest. Sometimes you talk about them. Sometimes you say things like, well, why are they doing that? But they have a system that they are executing. And they're doing that because that was the system that they have set up to help them achieve the things that they want to achieve. And at that moment, you don't realize that's why they're doing it. You don't realize it. But once you start to create up your own systems, you have your own rules that you're like, oh, well, they're just going to have to deal with this because this is my rule. So it's a reflective moment. I mean, I'm just being honest, Dr. Say, if I used to talk about people. I feel like I can come here and be honest and be myself. I try to show up as myself in many places that I show up, and I expect this to be one of them. So after going through that and taking the courses, the professional development, being in the business programs, and It helped me build a business, like a real one. I get the question all the time: how do you do all this stuff? How do you do everything that you do? How do you? Because I still have a 9 to 5, full disclosure. And people ask me, how do you do all this? Because I have systems in place. I don't work as hard as I used to work at all. Like, my friends can tell you, I used to be up to 12, 1, 2 o'clock every day on this computer working on my business. I can't tell you the last time I was up to that time, and I get more done. And I'm also working more strategically than I did before. Okay. Recently, I just hosted a conference. So I have a nonprofit called the Base Foundation, and October 11th here in Atlanta, I hosted a wealth and wellness conference. That was me when I was working my 9 to 5. Yes, like, you have to do what you have to do. You have to, and it's like, that's the only way it's going to get done if you're there and you're up till 12, 1, 2. Just being real. It's like, I know I keep saying, if you weren't at that conference, you totally missed out. That conference, I don't even want to get off on a tangent because I know I will get off on a huge tangent, but that conference was amazing. It was a wonderful experience. People really enjoyed it. I can't tell you how many people did and came up to me with just like raving reviews. Absolutely. But yeah, so I'm Nia Adams. For those who don't know me, I am the founder of Perspectives. I have an MBA in finance. I'm an accredited financial counselor, and I'm known as the Coins Confidant. And I started my business, like, I can speak about these things so passionately because they were me. I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from my own feelings, unsure of how to charge, hated to give offers, hated to have that money conversation in those consultations. Oh, no, I refuse. You are not going to throw me under the bus, Dr. Sev. Absolutely not. I am not blaming anybody. That's okay. September 12th, mark your calendar right now. That's when it will be next year. But today I look at my business different. I look at that conversation different. I look at it as a conversation. It's not some intimidating part of my business that I have to, begrudgingly go through. And so I charge $5,000 for speaking engagements. Sometimes I charge more. I have automated systems where, from inquiring about me speaking at your at your conference or your event or workshop or things like that, you receive things, and it's a constant system where it looks the same for multiple people without me having to do extra work. And as the end result, I get real results. I get contracts, and I can say and count how many times I've met people, worked my system, nurtured it, and it turned into a wonderful budding relationship. So I think that it's to be looked at as something that's very important. Another part that I want to talk about is pay. So I can't come on here and talk to you and tell you what I've done and not show you the proof that I have did it. And so this is just showing you, like, you can look at the dates and the differences in these payments to say, one of them was a personal finance workshop that I spent 60 minutes on. I spent a lot of work on that. I spent a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of research, well over $350 worth of effort I put into that conference. And the time, I mean, we know it. Yes, I know personal finance, but if I'm speaking for your group, I'm catering my talk to your group. I'm going to research the demographic. I'm going to research things that will be relatable and practical for them. And that stuff takes my time. I'm going to look up the statistics for their demographic. All of those things are very important. What activities are we going to have for that demographic? Because I need to make it applicable, So $350 was absolutely not worth the time that it takes to do that, practicing it, because it's not the same presentation. It's customized. So I like to show this to show, like, you can look at the dates and see, you can see the prices, the difference, because it's important to show. And I think that sometimes we forget about this, and we have to stop and ask ourselves a question. Why are we still winging it? For some of us, we just don't know. A lot of us, we start businesses and we excel in businesses and we excel in our zone of genius, but that back end part of that business is not our zone of genius. That admin task, logistics, finances, sometimes is not our jam. And maybe we might be good with personal finances and helping others, but maybe business finances looks a little different to us. Or it's more of a task that's like, oh, I'll get to that later, I'll push it off, like bookkeeping. How many people like allow their bookkeeping? I know the bookkeepers hate to see us coming sometimes. So I personally try to set a count on my calendar to do my bookkeeping now because I have learned and I've been yelled at enough. Then we have the confidence gap because sometimes we have confidence issues within ourselves. And I know I keep talking about that and touching on that, but you would be surprised how much that affects how you show up in your business, how you have that conversation, how you discuss. A lot of people dread having that conversation. I used to be one of them. And so I think it's important for us to also focus on what needs to be done to help build your business. Focus on the people that you are helping. That's one of my issues, the confidence gap. That was one of my issues. That's why I didn't like, well, I had a internal idea about what sales was one of mine. And I had to get past my own internal idea of what it was. And then secondly, I had an issue with my confidence level of getting paid that much and things like that. I was happy to do the work, but I wasn't getting paid for all the work that I was doing. And I was doing myself a disservice at the end of the day. Now, what does winning look like? Winning looks like you're getting actual inbound requests. So people are contacting you like, hey, I saw you here. Oh, I saw you posted that you were speaking here on Instagram. Or I saw you post this on LinkedIn. Could you come to that talk for us? Can you come do that? Like I've gotten people where now, whereas it used to be always me reaching out. The goal ultimately is to have a consistent referral service system that every time that I'm always where I don't have to make that much of an effort in the sense of like having to constantly get out there. You have to build a system to do that though. Okay. Also, you get an inbound speaking request that have a budget attached to it. That's what winning looks like too, because a lot of times I have nothing wrong with doing free. Sometimes I do show up. I'm very passionate about this, so I do free, but unfortunately I can't do free all the time. Even the system that I am doing this live on, it costs money. It has a subscription attached to it. Okay. So balancing the success and working on a system that works for you. So templates, processes, things that let you focus on your work. Because a lot of time, if you're spending here doing a lot of these things manually, that's less time that you're spending on income generating activities. And we all know that business runs with income. Income is what allows you to continue to do what you do. You want to be able to spend more time in your zone of genius. That involves getting help. Help costs money. Help is not free. And that's another reason why it's important to start charging and being able to build the systems. Because another thing you don't want to do is hire somebody and have them doing a lot of tasks that could be automated. I mean, of course, we have AI now, and AI has a lot of resources, but even before AI became a big thing, there are ways that you can automate it. So even if you're somebody who's not interested for whatever reason in starting to incorporate AI in your business, there are other ways that you can build automations that will help you spend less of your time on admin, tedious work that doesn't lead to anything to help your business run anymore. It's just admin tasks that really need to be done. Okay. So, and then of course, you got positioning yourself. You're positioned in a space where people come to you for your zone of genius because you've established yourself as an expert in that brand. Okay. So what I use is called the pay method. It's a system I built that I use for myself and my business, and anybody who's ever come to me and asked me to mentor them before, this is what I have taught them. It's built for people who they know their stuff. They know what they're talking about. They could talk about it for 50 minutes without stopping consistently. They can not practice a presentation. They can show up and blow it out the park because this is what they do. This is their zone of genius, and this is what they love doing. But as I said before, They may not have that back end together. So let's get into it. What does the P stand for in the pay method? The P stands for positioning yourself like a pro. The first thing you're going to do is own your niche. Now, just because you teach personal finance, that's not necessarily your niche. There are a lot of people in personal finance, and we have different specialties, different topics, different things that we know we have helped people with numerous times. What is the thing we have helped people with the most? What are the similarities we have seen in so many clients back to back to back that they came to us and their whole mind was blown? You know, what excites us about it? We all have the parts of personal finance we love teaching, and the other parts we teach because it's a part of the job. What is that? Because you want to speak directly to a specific problem. Okay. Then you want to work to build your brand. Once you've decided what that specific problem is, you want to establish yourself as a thought leader in that problem. For me, it's confidence. If you go through any of my content, you go through anything that I do, I'm not going to do anything and it not be confidence related, because I have a strong history of working with individuals and finding how much confidence affects their money moves, how they show up in society, how they dress, how they act at work. Like, it affects so many different parts of them. So helping them build that part along with helping them with their finances has given me some wonderful transformations that I'm truly proud of. So when you're building your brand and you want a brand that feels like you, so that's why you want to look for something you've been consistently doing, because at the end of the day, it's hard showing up like somebody you don't know. It's hard putting on a facade and putting a mask on every day. And now I got to get up and do this and do that. It's exhausting. And especially if you're looking to build a sustainable brand over the years, that's just not going to work. It's just not going to work, because eventually you're going to stop being that person. So it's best for you to find something that's in your zone of genius and something that you can resonate with. Okay. And then communicate your value. Be able to communicate your value. And this is another part that I feel like I've seen a lot of people struggle with that ties to that confidence. Some people struggle with talking about the good things that they've done, with talking about and talking themselves up and taking credit. They're very much modest. They're very much, oh, well, no, I didn't do it. You did it. You know, take credit and take up space, as they say. Communicate your value. Practice communicating your value. It's almost like when you work a job and they ask you for a self-appraisal, but you can't think of, your mind's blank. You're like, oh, I can't think of what I did. But if it comes to somebody else, you're able to just shower them with gifts and shower them with compliments. But when it comes to yourself, it's a different program. So this is what you're doing. By tackling these three things, you're positioning yourself like a pro, and you're establishing yourself as a thought leader. You're positioning your brand into that same zone of genius. So that's one of the first things you want to do. It's a consistent process. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. But as you continuously do it, you will find that people will start sending you messages. You'll even have a lot of pick your brains. You'll have a lot of people who want to pick your brain. I'm going to take credit every time. Okay, good to know, Dr. Sam. Okay, maybe we might have to have you at the Thrive 360 as a speaker next year. Come on now. But so things like that, you want to pick something because you know you're going to thrive in that moment, you know? The next thing you want to do, the A in the pay method, stands for automate your process. If you have something that you have to do over and over again, you know, for your coaching clients, for your speaking clients, I have to do this over and over again. Every time I have to do this same thing. I'm going to find a way to automate it. How can I make this easier? How can I make this simpler? How can I build a process that works for this? That is what you want to do. Okay. It gives you automatic trust because, one, it looks like you have an official process. If somebody's working with you and they're consistently getting things, they show up with the same brand, same personality, same tone, it's giving professional. You know, it's showing that you care about your brand, and it helps build trust using CRMs. And so for those who don't know, CRM is a customer relationship management. And typically this is software that it basically all of your clients you can have housed in there. It'll keep all their emails in the same place, so you don't have to worry about losing the email. You could take notes from all of your calls. Mine personally has a note taker that comes to all my meetings and takes notes, and it keeps all your notes in yours. They can have a portal where you can put documents and you all can both see the documents in the portal. I personally feel like it makes me feel more secure, especially if we're looking to do business and we have different documents or deliverables that are required. Having them in one place in a portal absolutely will help automatically build you trust when it comes to working with people. Your onboarding process will look the same for everybody. That makes your life easier. Instead of having to wing it, and then you build it once, and then that's it. Like this year, we built everything for the Thrive 360 conference. Guess what we don't have to do next year? Because as we're going along, we're thinking and creating systems of how we can have this done. So that's what I want you to think about. What processes can you automate? Think about different things that you do over and over again and break them down in every single painstaking detail, and then figure out where you can make an automation. And the why stands for your voice equals your value. Okay? Your voice is your value. If you're talking to me and you're asking me about speaking, I'm going to talk up and tell you some of the things I've worked with. I'm going to give suggestions. I'm going to highlight my expertise. I'm not going to wait for you to have to, continuously break out every single thing and pull every single piece of information out of me. You're not going to enjoy that process. You're not going to want to work with me again if that's what you have to go through. Every time you need information, you have to pull it out. And especially if it's like frequently asked questions, why not have a PDF that you can shoot off? Why not use the same terminology and verbiage so that you become very confident in it? And always ask for the sale, because you can expect them to automatically offer it. You always ask for the sale. Always end it with the question to ask, are we ready to move forward? Does this seem like a good fit? Is this something that you're looking for? Did you have any additional questions, or are we ready to move forward with this proposal? Like, ask for the sale every time. And that also shows your confidence in your product. You cannot sell something you're not confident in. You can try, but if you yourself are not confident in what you're trying to do, it will not go as well. Automation and having SOPs are great for reducing friction. I finally got my podcast process together, and my last guest, she just exactly proved my point. It makes the process better for your customer and your client. It shows that you're worth the money that you're asking for, because you're making this a seamless process. You're giving them the opportunity to give you an easy yes. Why not? You made my life easy. You solved a problem for me, and it was easy to do. You had receipts, you had things, everything was professional. Absolutely. Always remember your voice is your value. Okay? So make sure that your packages also are solving real problems. They're solving issues. They're not just what you think they should be, and they're not just what you think should go in them. Make sure they solve a problem that your customer has. Make sure that they solve a problem that will be wonderful for them, and that will make sure that they want to keep working with you, and make sure that they want to tell others about you and tell your friends about you and have the amazing transformation that they deserve. Now let's talk real results. Here's what's real. I've helped coaches, and before I've mentored others and helped them build these type of systems in their business. I've helped them start to charge more. I've helped them start to work on being able to charge more. Like when I first started coaching, I would charge somebody like $50, $100, but I have always been a person who's going to over deliver. I'm always going to stay and answer all the questions. You ask me to do a workbook, I'm always going to have a workbook that has a lot, and I'm going to try to make sure it's adding and bringing value. But I wasn't getting paid that. I wasn't having any profit. I was in the red for years. Like, what's the rule with the IRS? I think 5 years, and then your business is a hobby. Absolutely was there, because it took me a long time to build these type of systems. And it takes a while to implement as well, but you got to make that decision and do what you need to do. But when it comes to your first coaching and you're starting, maybe you're charging $1,000 to $2,000 for your coaching fees. Maybe you're not charging that much at all. It's not something for you to just automatically, oh, I'm just going to throw this random number out here. It's based on what programs are you paying for in order to deliver this coaching? How much time do you spend delivering the coaching? What type of resources do you have to use? Do you have somebody you've hired that you're paying to help you? Like, these are all the type of things you want to ask yourself when you're doing rates. Same thing with speaking gigs. Do I have to travel? You want to make sure that you are confident in your business and profitable. So you don't want to feel like you're cheating yourself, because that's not a good feeling. That's not a good feeling when you feel like you're cheating yourself. But you also want to be steadfast in knowing what you have. So when you are contacted, you're able to roll it off your tongue, because you already know what your amounts are. You know what your rates are. You know what systems you have in place. So you're able to give them, okay, next steps look like this. That's what gets you real results. And that's what allows you to stop winging it and being able to really run your business. And so one of the things that I think the difference from me before to now, it wasn't talent, it wasn't effort, it wasn't me like taking some magic pill, like, red pill, blue pill. It wasn't anything like that. It was me building that structure and getting structure in my business. I was already pretty organized as a person, but I hadn't created systems because I didn't know what systems looked like before. I didn't know what that process or those systems would be. So I think that it's very important for us to start doing that structure. And with that in mind, that's why I created the Practice to Profit Academy. I created it because it's a 4-month, very interactive program. The goal is to help you build a streamlined business that is profitable. Now, it's based on proven systems that I've used myself in my business, and I'm very transparent and show you kind of what I've done. I share a lot of my own templates and things that I've used, as well as you get personal support from me, and you get a private community with everybody else who's in the program where you all can communicate, you can talk, and you could do a lot of things. I made it 4 months because I want to have things in the program that make it very interactive. For example, we have hot seats where we're going to practice that money conversation. We're going to have a set time where we practice the money conversation, and we can role play back and forth, so we can help you build it. We can help you know what that conversation looks like. That was one of the things I struggled with in my business. I would hear people tell me all the time, oh, you should work with this person, or you should work with this type of businesses. But I wasn't familiar with what the conversation looked like. And I didn't have the confidence to just go in there and just do it and not worry about getting rejected. I'm just being honest. So it's very important to me that I had a part of this program that had us actually play around, do that, and act that part out. I think that it's something that we don't think about. I don't want this to be a program that you take and then you don't do any work in it. So you get a whole workbook full of templates. I said I was going to do 25 templates, but now that I've finished them, it's actually 32. And I'll give you a sneak peek of what they look like, but it's actually about 32 of them in there now. And so it's coaching Q&A, you get the scripts and pitches, you get the workbook. Of course, you get behind the scenes. So I give you a look into my packages and things that I have and what I'm doing and what I'm running, to give you a chance to have questions, kind of see what my process looks like and things like that, which I feel like is very important. And then you get access, of course, to the portal, the resources, and there's a bonus module. So the program is all about helping you build systems, get paid to speak, break into that business, and build a better coaching system. But I have a bonus module that talks about if you want to write a book, do you plan on having courses? Maybe you want to do a monthly membership. And then the fourth one, I can't think of, but we'll see, because I'm going to show you the inside of the program. The founding price is, might as well say, $2,000 flat. Right now, we're enrolling the first cohort, so it'll be the founding member price, honestly. And this price will last until October 2026. After that, it's going to go up to $24.97. And once the doors close, then they'll be closed until next year, once this 4-month cohort is done and closed. This round, personally, is probably the most affordable, to be honest, because I've just built all the templates out. So I guess you could say, of course, I'll be asking for feedback. We might add some things in there. I guess we might have a little bit more freedom in this round also, because if somebody's like, oh, this would be perfect if we had this, this is the time when I probably will say, okay, let me create it, because it's the beginning of the cohort. And I do want to be honest also. I will be wrong if I didn't say like, this is not for everybody. I don't want to make anybody feel any type of way, but I don't want anybody to come in the program who's not ready to do the work. If you know that you don't want to build your business to be a bigger business and you're completely fine with your business being like part-time, that's fine for you. You have no intention on building it to be bigger. I don't think this will necessarily be for you. If you're still want to do for your business, you also might struggle. I'm not joking and being very honest and transparent. This program is going to be work. It's going to make you feel very uncomfortable. We're going to have some real uncomfortable conversations, and we're going to have some real activities. If you know anything about me, I'm a very interactive and engaging person when it comes to my full trainings. And so this is not going to be any different. So you need to be sure that you want to build this in your business, because you're going to do a lot of work otherwise. The next thing that I want you to know is that if you're just looking for something free and you're like, oh, well, I just take whatever I can get for free, and you're not really interested in implementing any systems right now, you're just like, okay, I'm fine winging it. This works for me. Then this is probably not going to be for you. My goal is to help get you to the point where you're winning. You've helped enough people for free. You've helped enough people for less than your worth. And it's time for you to build something that actually works for you. Okay, so I can have somebody drop the link in the chat right now if you want to join tonight, or you have the option that you can book a fit call with me so we can kind of talk through it. You can get an idea to see more what's in there and look at it, but I don't want you to wait and miss your moment. What's today? Today's 24th, so you have until the 26th to get the $19.97 price, but I want to first show you a little bit of peek of what's inside. So I'm going to pause, share my screen. I'll let you look at this for a little while. If you have any questions, definitely drop them in the chat. But I want to give you an opportunity to see what's all inside. And then I'll show you like the inside of the portal. And like, I'll show you some of the scripts and templates that I put in there, because I was going to do 25 at first, but once I started creating them, I'm like, oh, well, if I do this, I need to add this. Like, I can't not add this. And so that's how we landed at 32. But I'm sure nobody will be mad without them. But what we're going to do, I think that's different in this program. When we do the live training, we will be using a lot of the scripts and templates so that you're not just getting a whole bunch of templates that's going to sit in your folder or sit on your computer or sit in the class portal and never be used. We will actively use them in the training so that you'll know how to use them, you'll know how to implement them, and you'll feel confident about implementing them. So let me pause sharing my screen, and then I can show you the inside of the portal. So we're going to remove that from the stage. And then we're going to share. Hold on. So stop. Okay, there we go. So share screen. We're going to Chrome's tab. Here we go. So this is just my inside because it's still in pre-sale, but I still want to show you like what it looks like. I got to plug up my phone. Plug up my computer, y'all. Because, you know, we don't want it to cut off on me. So this is the inside of the portal and what it looks like. As I said, there are 4 modules to the program. And so confidence, cast connection, irresistible niche, and tech stack. So helping you put together your tech stack. What are you using for all this automation? What are you using to create all these to create all these systems? Branding without the BS. Like, how is your brand showing up? So I can't tell you to implement the pay method and don't actually break down each part of the pay method and go through it in the course. So that's the goal of it. Like, yes, I tell you about the pay method. Of course, we go a little bit more in depth in the Practice to Profit Academy, but I help you implement each part. There's a portion of this program that touches on every single part of the pay method, which helps you implement. So then we're going into conversations to contracts, client attraction that converts, the conference conversion code. If you saw my webinar that I did September 18th, where I shared my method that I use to turn conference connections into speaking engagements, that full workbook is in here, because there was a workbook that came with that webinar, which I got a lot of good feedback. People like they didn't know it was going to have as much as it had in it. And then the money conversation mastery. Yes, I dedicated a whole section to the money conversation because I feel like it's a huge part that people battle with. Then enrollment and follow up. People enrolling into your coaching programs, follow up with them. Just because somebody enrolls, you want to still work on their experience working with you. You want them to feel good about their experience working with you. And you want them to feel pleasant and want to continue, because that's what's going to create that moment where they're like, oh my God, this was such, like, I was so scared to work with you on my finances, but oh, you made me feel so much better. I literally had people in tears because they were so scared that I was going to go, wow, like you should have did this. And when they found out that I didn't, they were just lovely surprised. Next, we got stage to get paid. This section basically, there we go, breaks down your signature talk framework, creating your signature talk, confidence on the stage based on your personality, and like not trying to implement what you see other people do, building your own presence and what that looked like, building your authority. We talked about that. Speaking business blueprint, like setting up your systems. Then we got practice to profit. So this is where, like we talked about the tech stack. How do we implement the tech stack? How do we make the stack work for our businesses? So this is kind of like it's a co-working portion where we'll have one session where we kind of join on there and we kind of look, we can brainstorm to say like, okay, this is what my process looks when I created it. Now let me figure out how a tech stack would work with that so that we can automate as much as possible. And so this is the bonus module I was telling you about: corporate contract negotiation, group program, passive income for coaches, and what those different things. And then, oh, that's the other one, building your speaker one sheet, because if you're looking to speak more, it's very important to be able to showcase yourself, communicate your value, and let people know why they should hire you. So these are the different templates. And so obviously I can't open all of them, but I'm going to open just one of them just so you can kind of see what's in it. So as you see, just because it's one title, this one has about 9 pages in it. But so we got the consultation call script. We got the coaching inquiry form template. We got a referral script. We got a pick your brain script. How many times have you received a message, somebody wanting to pick your brain? Offer presentation. So basically presenting your offer when you're talking to the client, always asking for the sale. How do we do that? What does that look like? Testimonial request. If nobody's able to say that they really enjoyed it and how much of a transformation you gave them, did you really give them a transformation? We all know in personal finance, sometimes it's really hard to get people to give you a testimonial. So build a system that always asks for the testimonial. And then speaker success. So basically, once you have booked a speaking engagement with somebody, what's next? What does that process look like? So I just wanted to show some of them so you can see what they look like. And then, of course, if you have questions, be sure to drop them in the chat. And then I'm going to go back to the presentation. Oh, okay, Dr. Sev. Thanks for joining. So let me stop my screen. Let me go back to what I was doing. Window, bam. Okay, back. We're back in action. So yeah, that gave you an idea of like what's actually in there, what you would be getting. I'll give you the option now that you can join. You can either scan to join the program now, or you can book a fit call. And so a fit call is basically us jumping on a conversation. I'm here to answer whatever questions you may have, explain more about the program to see if it might be a good fit for you, because maybe you're not sure if it's a good fit and you don't know if I address what you really are concerned about. So feel free to join now with the code, and you would pick the $19.97 offer, or I did give you the option where you could pay it in payments. So you would just use the drop-down menu, and from the drop-down menu, pick which one you want. I mean, and if you have questions, just drop that in the chat also, and I'll be happy to show that on my screen as well. But those are your 2 options that you have. And honestly, you have until October 26th to join the program now at the current rate, or else it's going to go up. But if you know you need this, why wait? So let me know, what questions do you have? Let's talk about it. And I do want to say, whether you join or not, feel free to start using the pay method. you deserve to profit from your practice. I'm here to help you when you're ready, but if you're not ready, you still can implement this process and use it to help you in your business. Okay? Now, I'm staying right here. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Like I said, drop them in the chat or the comments, and then the goal is to make sure that you leave with clarity. So let me know if you have questions. Bye-bye. And then maybe I can take this down since we're here where we're just asking and answering questions, or maybe I'll go back to that screen so you can see. So maybe if you didn't get a chance to scan the code, 1 second. So I'll leave that up there and then I'll be here for a little while if you have questions that you want to ask. I will say I am, what's today? Today's Friday. Sometimes I forget my days. When does the program begin? It begins November 1st. So it begins next Saturday, actually. And so right now, the when you join, I ask you what day works best for you, like what day you would prefer for the meetings to be on. And right now, Tuesday is winning. So Tuesday evenings are what's winning right now. You are welcome. Can't see who that is, but you are absolutely welcome. So yes, after the cohort ends, you do get unlimited access to the program. And then whatever upgrades that I make based on the feedback from this cohort, then yes, you get access to them. I'm not going to change the scripts though. If I do anything, I'll add scripts, but that's about it. Okay, I do not see any more questions. I'm going to jump off. I hope that you all have a fabulous Friday and a wonderful weekend. Personally, I will be trying to go get my workout in before this day is over. I'm doing a challenge with my friend for the month of October. If you haven't been seeing my videos, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message and let me know. Okay, stop sharing. Remove. Stop screen. Bam. Okay. There we go. So it worked out. I guess this camera is not that bad. It's not as clear as my camera. It's kind of yellowy, but it did the trick. So that's all that really matters.